Hello everyone and welcome back to Play for Fun. This is the second episode of building my coastal circular city, which I've named Helens. In the previous episode, we constructed parts of the main city with the detailed central island and the complex intersections in the city center. We also built the airport island, and in this episode, we'll be detailing and fine-tuning it, as well as building the surrounding circles of the main city circle. If you haven't watched the previous episode yet, make sure to check it out first and then come back to this one. I'll put the link in the description. This episode will be a bit shorter, and I won't repeat the detailed explanations from the previous episode, aiming to keep it concise and to the point. Thank you for choosing to watch my video, and let's start building. We'll start exactly where we left off in the last episode. I need to prep the central area of the city within this big circle by adding the essential buildings and services. Hospitals and clinics, fire stations and police stations, schools, colleges, and parks. The arrangement of various buildings is entirely up to you and your zoning plan for different parts of the city. Just make sure that every area has proper access to all services throughout the city. In this part, I'm actually going to replace the schools with ones from the French pack, which was newly released when I started building the city. I think they're not only more beautiful, but they also fit the design of this part of the city much better. One of the things I did a lot for this city was building these huge custom parks all over. In the previous episode, I showed you in more detail how I created these personalized environments for my citizens. Make sure to check out that episode. Here, I'll quickly show you the steps to build them. After the custom parks, something I use a lot in this city is these pathways. I connect various points with them. Not only do they help to smooth out the city's traffic, but they also give this city a distinct character. Overall, there are many elements that can make your city unique. In my opinion, one of them is definitely the use of these pedestrian paths. Once I've completed all the essential buildings and services for this part of the city, and ensured everything is adequately covered, I move on to designing and completing the airport island. It's quite simple. Just like in the previous episode, by using different surfaces and items through the Find It mod, along with the Anarchy mod and landscaping tools, you can design each part of the city any way you like. Here, I route the main highway right under the airport. You just need to ensure proper access to the highways from both sides. The design of the intersections in this part needs to be carefully done to match the overall city layout and the design of the airport and airport island. For now, I just need to make sure there's proper access to different areas in this part. Vehicles should be able to move smoothly from the highway to the airport island and back without the entrances and exits causing traffic on the main routes. Once that's set up, I'll focus on the details and design of this area. The first step in establishing the city's public transportation service starts here on the airport island. I'll create a central terminal and taxi stations that will connect to bus lines throughout the city. Once those are in place, I'll add a hotel along with the necessary service buildings and then start designing this part of the city. Here, I want to connect the airport island's bus terminal to the airport entrance and the harbors with separate bus lines. Later on, this terminal will connect to other lines across the city. This way, all my citizens can access the airport and the island's maritime transport from any part of the city via these buses. Since we're going to have many bus lines, and I don't want to mix them up, I'm naming all the lines based on their locations right from the start. That way, I'll never lose track of a bus line. I'm done with my work on the airport island for now. Moving forward, I'll continue building new parts of the city using the same method as in this and the previous episode. I'm now going to work on the two circular areas to the right and left of the main part of the city. To start, I'm leveling the entire area. Later on, I'll create different elevations as needed, but for now, I need a completely flat surface. The first step is establishing the border area of the main central circle. This is where I'm going to build a large canal around the central circle. After that, I'll begin designing the side circles. For the outer parts of this area and the opposite side, I'm going to raise the terrain. In the previous design, many were concerned about tsunamis and mentioned that my city wasn't much higher than the water level. Well, here you go. This elevated terrain is not only safer against tsunamis, but also makes the overall city design more attractive. Alright, here's one of the side circles with its basic layout complete. Before continuing, I want to create a new highway over the central canal. This part of the city is going to get quite busy, with a large population living here. It's best to make access to the main highway and various parts of the city as simple as possible, with multiple entry points. No one wants heavy traffic to ruin the view of these beautiful canals. Alright, much better now. To build the left circle, once I find its central point, I'll follow the same method I used for the right circle. After constructing the base roads, I'll start by adding the essential buildings and services. Then, I'll move on to designing and landscaping the area. After that, I'll designate the different zones and build a series of initial structures. So please keep staying with me. Alright, guys, here's the basic layout of the left circle. Before I start on the upper circle, I need to complete the roads for the parts I've built so far. I need to add some intersections and U-turns to ensure proper access. For example, by adding a few U-turns here, I can easily create access points to help manage traffic pressure later on. Alright, the next step in expanding the highways and creating access points is to develop the central parts of the left and right circles. I plan to place a very tall building right in the center of each side, with highway entrances and exits around it. I'll do this on both sides and then move on to the upper circle. I'll complete that using the same method as before. Alright guys, thanks for watching the videos so far. I hope you enjoyed it. I've tried to make this episode a bit more concise, and the next episode will be the final one for this city. I'm really excited to show you my new city built with the latest packs and DLCs. Sorry if the video pace is a bit fast. I aim to keep it detailed yet engaging and not too boring. If you have any ideas or suggestions, I would love to hear from you. Feel free to reach out in the comments. I love reading and responding to them. See you soon in the next episode, and until then, happy building!